How to stay mindfully connected when life doesn't go your way. Have you ever had one of these days?
Everything seemed perfect, at least for a minute. The next day, it started to pour, cats and dogs, as they say. And the day after, it started to continue to pour. And he got spooked by one of the horses and ran into the woods and caught poison ivy in a really bad way because I weed whacked. My ankles and my feet are swollen and blistered. Actually, water bubbling on the ceiling can give you an appointment maybe in a week. We realized that there was water coming out from underneath the toilet. Within minutes, the toilet, the bathtub, and the sink overflowed. Because a lot of crap, literally speaking, coming out, flowing all over the basement floor, heading towards our new laminated floors. Everything bubbled up again, and we couldn't use anything. It stuck on the lawn because it had rained for 2 days. The sun was so stuck that the mud was flying and the ridges, tire ridges, got deeper and deeper and deeper. We're 60 seconds away from me calling the cops. The towing truck almost tumbled over on the hillside here. The bathtub filled again. And then we flushed the toilet and the toilet filled again.
To see the full story and learn how to stay mindfully connected during stressful times like this, keep on watching.
Hi, this is Nicole from Mindful Connections, and I want to share with you an opportunity I had just recently to really apply the Mindful Connections wheel and the principles. So here's how the story goes. I recently was finally ready to move to my new property. We have been waiting for 2 years because our old property took 2 years to sell, and we were really excited to finally move up here to Vermont. And so 10 days ago we did, and we arrived and everything seemed perfect, at least for a minute, until we realized that the painters had not come as they had promised, and therefore a lot of the little things that needed to be painted and patched up weren't patched up or painted. So at that point we were like, well, you know, what are you gonna do? We're here, everything is beautiful, let's just move on and unpack and get ready for our life. And the next day it started to pour, cats and dogs, as they say. And the day after, it started to continue to pour, and we really couldn't get all our things from underneath the house into the basement because it was so rainy that we really couldn't even do anything. So we just started to do stuff in the house. And next thing that happened is our new dog, who was brought to us just the week prior to us moving, and who is really amazing and perfect and wonderful, he got spooked by one of the horses and ran into the woods. And my partner David and I went on a search troop trying to get him back. He wasn't really that great at recall yet, so it was a little bit of a hassle getting through the woods, especially since I was wearing flip-flops, because I had caught poison ivy in a really bad way because I weed whacked an area that I shouldn't have weed whacked, obviously. And so my ankles and my feet are swollen and blistered, and I'm trying to hobble through the woods to find this dog. So the next thing that happened is we took a couple showers in our upstairs bathroom, and when we went into the bathroom underneath in the basement, we saw that there was actually water bubbling on the ceiling. And so we realized, wow, there must be an issue with the drain, and therefore we were like, we gotta call a plumber. Well, it turns out plumbers are very busy these days, and the guy said, I can give you an appointment maybe in a week. And we were like, okay. So we tried a couple more plumbers, and it was always the same. The closest we could get is somebody to come within 5 days. Well, so we decided, what the heck, why don't we use the downstairs bathroom and, you know, use that shower. And so the next morning when we were about to take a shower, we realized that there was water coming out from underneath the toilet. And we were like, well, that's weird. So we're like, maybe there's, because the house stood empty for a while, maybe there's a dry, you know, seam or something that just dried out, and we needed to now take care of it. And we knew the plumber was coming in a few days, and we're like, okay. So I figured, why not do my laundry? Because at this point, that's really what we needed to do to take care of some of our stuff that was, packed in boxes for many weeks, months, and years. So I threw some stuff in the washer, and within minutes, the toilet, the bathtub, and the sink overflowed because obviously there was something in the pipe that wasn't working, or clogged, I should say. So now there was a lot of crap, literally speaking, coming out, flowing all over the basement floor, heading towards our new laminated floors, and David and I just threw towels at it and tried to maintain what we could maintain. So now we called the plumber again and said, this is really an emergency. And he suggested, why don't you call the septic people, because it seems maybe there's a septic issue. Well, it turns out there are only 2 septic companies in the phone book, and both of them were booked solid. We were heading into a holiday weekend, and they were like, sorry, we really can't come. And, what are we to do? So we just, figured, well, we'll leave everything the way it is, and we just kind of use the upstairs bathroom, wash our hands, use the toilet, and, we'll just have to wait maybe a day or 2 for those guys to show up. Well, all of a sudden, when we used the upstairs sink and the toilet, everything bubbled up again, and we couldn't use anything anymore without creating more crap and overflow in our basement. So David called one of the septic guys again, and he said, sorry, dude, I really can't come, but here's a number from a competitor, and if you call him, they might be able to. So we called that guy, and they sent the rookie over. He was available, and this was now in the afternoon. This whole scene started probably at 8 in the morning. Now it was 4:30, and he showed up with this big tanker, and as he drove down the driveway and wanted to turn towards the septic tank, he got stuck on the lawn because it had rained for 2 days, cats and dogs, and as he's trying to get out of the lawn, he backed more into the lawn, and all of a sudden was so stuck that the mud was flying, and the tire ridges got deeper and deeper and deeper, and he finally got out of the truck and looked at me like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, oh my God, no kidding. I said, well, here's the thing. Let me try and get you out with my tractor. I don't know if my tractor is strong enough, but let's try that. So we hooked up the tractor with the chains, and we were just about capable of pulling him out, but my tractor in the gravel road also dug itself in too much. It was just too soggy. There was no way. So that didn't work. So now it was 5 o'clock, and we needed to find a towing company. Again, we're new in this neighborhood. Where the heck do we find a towing company that does that kind of service on a Friday afternoon of a holiday weekend? So luckily there is one down the street, and I caught the guy just by chance, and he said, well, I'll be glad to come, but I don't really have my big towing truck. I only got the little one. And I said, you know what, since my tractor almost pulled him out, I think maybe your little truck will do it. Why don't you come over? So the guy comes over. Now it's close to 6 o'clock, and I needed to buy some food because we had been waiting all day for this lovely septic system clearance here. So I took the dog because he was really kind of in the way with the guys and the trucks and the whole pulling out and towing. I took him in the car. It was 73 degrees. And when I got to the supermarket, I left him with all the windows and the roof open in the car, ran into the supermarket, came out 12 minutes later, and there's an old lady standing by the car. And she's like, just so you know, dogs should not be in the car at this temperature, and I don't care who you are, but if you leave dogs in the car like this, they can die. And I said, thank you, I appreciate that. And she's like, you were 60 seconds away from me calling the cops. And I was like, wow. I'm like, okay. I said, well, I appreciate that. And I got in the car, and I was like, wow, that would be something, ending up in jail over this on a day like this. So by the time I came back, they had pulled the truck out. As they reported to me, the towing truck almost tumbled over on the hillside here, and I was glad not to be a witness to that, because that would have made me really nervous. But so the guy was out. He went to the septic system, and after about 45 minutes, trying it from all different angles, he finally took off the toilet and sucked something out that was stuck in the pipes. We all took a deep breath of relief and we're like, all right, we're good now, we're good now. They put everything together. He put all the pipes back on the truck, and they drove off. And we were like, thanks, have a great 4th of July. And they must have been gone for just about a minute and a half, and David and I were now in the basement cleaning up the crap and washing out the towels and rags that we were using. And as we were washing them out in the bathtub filled again. And then we flushed the toilet, and the toilet filled again. And we were like, you gotta be kidding me. So David called the company again. The boss picked up and he said, I'll be right over with the camera. We're going to figure this out. Eventually he came over. He didn't get stuck in the mud, which was great. Put the camera in, and somehow that must have done the deal, because within half an hour we had a pipe that was working cleanly and freely. And by this time it was now 9 p.m. and we had spent the entire day doing nothing but watching crap flow over and crap happening in the grass, and our whole day was a real mess, so to speak. Now, why am I telling all this? This is the kind of stuff that can put somebody over the edge. And I tell you right now, it would have put me over the edge. It would have put me over the edge if I didn't apply the 5 principles and the wheel, the Mindful Connections wheel, throughout the day. I kept reminding myself to accept reality. Instead of hemming and hawing about, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my God, I wish this was already over, which I was very tempted to do, believe me. I kept reminding myself that this is what it is. Shit happens, literally speaking. And David and I needed to just stay present with what was going on and not become victim to the circumstance, but become the victor that is ready and willing to accept what is happening in our life. This wasn't how we wanted to spend our days. This wasn't what we were looking forward to do. I didn't want to spend extra money on all those crazy things, but it was what it was. And by us keeping a good attitude and a good way about it, and by us being partners and reminding ourselves that this is what it is, and that we needed to accept what is happening, and that we could ask one another for help when we needed it, and that the other person was willing to do just that, step in and support us. Because of that, we made it through those days without a big deal. And our dream move was still our dream move, and we still enjoyed the view, and we still enjoyed the funniness about the puppy, and we still enjoyed how great our kitties were adjusting, and we loved how good the horses felt to be, roaming the hillside. So I really invite you, when you feel tempted to become the victim, when you feel like you can't deal with what is, to think about being present, allowing the reality to be what it is, to actually embrace it and stay with it without losing your mind, and to help yourself and those around you by being more present and at peace with what is, to really be able to get through it in a much more peaceful and a much more mindful way. So if you're at all intrigued, take a look at my website. See if it would be a good fit for you to sign up for the 10-week online course, Take Your Life from Mindful to Mindful, and let me know how you feel. Let me know what you think. I can't wait for next week to tell you the next story.